Those guys have to rely on post facto auditing. They have to send in regulators. They have to comply with a gazillion things. And these people have to come in after the fact and try to uncover malfeasance. And I have a bunch of stories. I will tell you the simplest one. When I went to the New York Stock Exchange in 1999, so that's a very, very late, in human history. It wasn't that long ago. I went there in 1999 for the first time in my life. And they were talking about their fraud detection. And I don't know if I talked to you about this already, but they were like, well, fraud detection in these markets is so complicated. So we have these alerts whenever any asset suddenly goes up a lot. We alert it. If it goes up by by more than $10, then it's red. If it goes up by somewhere between whatever it is, $5 to $10, then it's orange. And if it's between 0 and 5, it's green, because that they expect it to go up like that. So and then it was like, but then a red alert for a stock that's worth $100 is very different from a red alert for a stock that's worth only $5. So we need a lot of human intervention and a lot of human oversight to try to uncover what's going on, whether or not these price movements are synthetic, they're being caused by market manipulation or something else. And it's just, as somebody who knows, I didn't have to be trained in computer science, as somebody who knows basic math, you just sort of do this facepalm thing as a visitor, and you just go like, why don't you just divide? Just divide one number by the other, then put the colors on. This isn't so hard. I'll do it for you. So anyhow, so we live in this world. We lived in that world for a very long time of incumbents just generally not being able to do their jobs appropriately. I left that place convinced that they weren't doing their jobs on purpose, because they couldn't be that stupid. In any case, fast forward to today, we still have essentially the same people running the same kinds of operations on Wall Street, and they're vertical silos, closed, unauditable. You don't know what's going on. And in fact, it's become the business model for other people to jump in ahead of your orders. Citadel does this all day long, every day. That's just what they do. And now it is time for a better approach. Now we have better approaches. DEXs like Uniswap, DEXs like Trader Joe are great, but they're based on an automated market maker model. So there's a giant pool of liquidity, and the liquidity pool absorbs the trades as they come in and out. Dexalot is operating differently. It's building a traditional club, a traditional central limit order book, where you have the bids and asks, and they're matched against each other when the wants and offers overlap. So, but there is something additionally cool about Dexalot, and I want to talk about that. So this is the first central limit order book subnet on Avalanche. It is the most performant. I think prior to this, the only other one I know is DXDY, and they've been looking for a technological solution, and I think they've been generally lost. So they tried some ZK solutions for a while. They found that was highly limiting. I think they were unable to edit their own code because very few people know how to build on the virtual machine that they were using, the Cairo virtual machine. So then they're now looking for whatever it is. DXDY is doing its DXDY thing. And so the world needs an exchange. The world needs exchanges where people have things to sell and people have things to buy, and they come together. And so Dexalot is one of those. Unlike what you might have heard from everybody else, it's based on a different architecture. Dexalot operates on its own subnet, but it's really a multi-chain system. It straddles multiple chains, and there is nothing else like it out there. Let me tell you how it works. So it's an on-chain order book. Yep, you've got your assets on the Avalanche C chain, and so what you will do is you will move your assets into Dexalot, and you will place your orders, and you see a view very similar to what you would see on Binance or Coinbase. And likewise, if you have things to buy, you bring in your cash into Dexalot, and you send your orders to buy things, etc. You buy and sell, etc. So far, so good. But the thing that's unique about Dexalot is that it's based on two chains. Your assets that you have to trade exist and remain forever on the C chain. The trading itself happens on the Dexalot subnet, on a different chain belonging to Dexalot. So that is very, very interesting. Why? Because first of all, I've never seen anything like it. Second, it's decentralized. It's got all of the blockchain goodness. This is not me selling you some kind of a vision that's going to happen umpteen years from now. There's no layer like whatever the heck vision here, and I'm not here to dazzle you with moon math. This stuff is trustless today. It's not like one of those things that's that exists on Ethereum, which is all smoke and mirrors. And it's not something that is all a bunch of promises where hopefully someday maybe somebody will deliver. They were about to deliver VRFs, then VDFs, then accumulators, then ZK EVMs, and now It's not one of those. This is as it is. It works in a trustless fashion. The assets are on the C chain. They never leave the security of that chain. The assets get created there because people like that chain. The convenience and security of a global shared rendezvous point is hard to sort of overstate. The assets were there to begin with. The AVAX, the Alot coin, and all these other coins that were bridged to Avalanche. So Bitcoin is there, Ethereum is there, whatever else other, Aave coins are there, etc., etc. There's a bunch of, and of course, USDC, USDT, etc., natively exist on the C chain. Those assets are never bridged out. There is never an additional step of moving those out. There's never an additional step of wrapping or rewrapping or unwrapping these assets. They remain on the C chain. Now, then what good is what's the point of the other subnet? Well, the point of the other subnet is to perform the trades in a transparent manner. So perform the trades in an auditable manner, so to ensure the correct operation of the DEX according to its instructions. So we rule out intermediaries. We rule out Sam. We rule out Caroline. We rule out the polycule. There is no additional hands on those assets. And all of the trading happens with only the users directing them. There is nobody else who can come in and take those assets from you and reuse them or repurpose them or build positronic schemes around them and so forth. So that's the setup. And if anybody wants to ensure that indeed Dexalot is doing everything correctly, they can easily open up an Explorer and see what's happening over there. So this combines the best of both. Oh, I should mention a little bit more. Not only is it auditable, transparent, etc., but it's also failure isolated and congestion isolated. So that means that even if the C chain is congested and the fees are sky high and you have to pay like $1.50 or so, instead of 15 cents for your trade on the C chain, if you use Dexalot, your Dexalot trades take place on the Dexalot subnet, and those trades are much, much, much cheaper than they would be on the C chain. And if the C chain is congested, the fees go sky high. Well, it doesn't matter. The Dexalot subnet will still operate according to the Dexalot rules. It only executes the Dexalot app, and it is entirely shielded from congestion and load and fee spikes on the main C chain. So I hope you get a glimpse of how cool this is. There is nothing else like it. We did not create a song and dance and try to dazzle you with moon math. We didn't hold carrots out in front of people. We didn't talk about technology that did not exist. Our ecosystem executed and brought you something that just doesn't exist anywhere else. Now, of course, it's going to be really funny. In a few months, other people will wake up to the fact that this is now happening, and they will act like they reinvented this from scratch. They will put a new name on it, whatever it might be called, and it'll be really funny to watch certain people who have a habit of doing this try to ignore the fact that innovation is happening on the Avalanche side. I'm really proud of this. If you haven't checked out Dexalot, check it out. It's in its early days, and the whole thing is just beautiful in my opinion. Very simple interface, very familiar interface. It works beautifully, exactly as it should. Your keys, your coins, of course. No SAM business, no intermediaries, no custodians in the operation of this DEX. So fantastic setup, and set up in a way that shields all of us from fee spikes and unexpected behaviors, because the execution is happening elsewhere. So execution integrity is guaranteed on the Dexalot subnet, and the assets remain on the C chain.